Hey you, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
This is what it's like to travel to the weirdest country on earth. I am going to Turkmenistan, an isolated landlocked country in Central Asia. The first thing you need to understand is there is no internet here. Essentially, every website is banned, and I had to tell people I'd be out of contact for the entire length of my trip. You can't travel here without a pre-approved visa and pre-arranged tour guide for the entire length of your stay. In fact, the country only recently opened up to tourism after being completely closed since 2020. Calling this place strange is an understatement. The capital city is full of grandiose utilitarian monuments and virtually devoid of people. There is just an eerie feeling visiting these buildings with scores of empty stores inside, almost like a ghost town. It just felt like something was wrong and you couldn't say exactly what it was. Ashgabat is known as the city of marble, and every car has to be white or silver, and it's a crime to drive a dirty car in the city. This is no doubt the weirdest trip I've been on. Make sure to follow along as I shed more light on this very interesting country.
So I have a confession to make. I can never live there because I have a dirty truck. I don't like washing my truck. I keep it neat and tidy on the inside, but I don't like washing the outside. I mean, it's white, so it's partially white. It's wrapped in our business logo, but I'm not a big fan of washing the truck. My husband washed it for my birthday, and that was the first time it had been washed in over a year. It's terrible. I know it's a bad habit. There are a lot of other laws that are crazy in Turkmenistan. I do have another video I want to show you, and I will look up some of those laws and let you know after the other video. It's not right now. It'll be in a little bit. This is the part of the video where I get really close and ask you to hit that like button and consider subscribing. And if you like this kind of content, come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
What is cloud seeding and why are people saying it's caused the extreme floods in Dubai? These are the scenes in the United Arab Emirates after record rainfall dumped a year and a half's worth of rain in one day. It's the largest amount of rainfall the country has seen in 75 years. 20 people have reportedly been killed, and it's likely that the recovery will be slow as many areas don't have drainage. But the question everyone's asking is whether such a rogue event was caused by the country's practice of cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is a weather modification strategy that involves manipulating clouds to produce more rain. Lots of countries around the world do it, especially ones that are prone to drought. It can be done by using an aircraft to drop small particles like silver iodide into clouds. Water vapor can then condense more easily and turn into rain. The UAE started its cloud seeding program way back in the 90s and uses a kilogram of salt material components which is burned and shot into clouds. And it's not just about creating more water. It's also been used to prevent floods, like in Indonesia where scientists targeted heavy rain clouds and timed them to drop over the ocean rather than on vulnerable communities. Or in China where cloud seeding has been used to guarantee clear skies and lower pollution for a political event. So, did this cause the floods in Dubai? Short answer, no. Several cloud seeding planes were flown in the days before the storm, but meteorologists have said that no operations took place right before the storm. And experts have weighed in. A professor from the University of Reading has said that cloud seeding in the Emirates is used on clouds that don't normally produce rain, and that it's just not a realistic possibility that it could ever cause such big weather events. More likely is that these extreme weather events are caused by climate change, where rising global temperatures is leading to more extreme weather events, including intense rainfall.
I don't typically run to blame global warming for this event. We are in a global pattern, however, and this particular pattern is the El Nino year, right, where there's warming of the oceans, which causes greater rainfall in lots of areas, and other areas become a lot drier than normal. And we did have 3 years of the La Nina pattern where it was just super dry. I mean, we did get some rain, but not nearly as much as is typical. And then we finally popped into this El Nino pattern. So there's a possibility that did cause that extensive amount of rain in Dubai. But I still think that the cloud seeding may have something to do with it. The scientists are saying that the cloud seeding didn't cause this particular event. But I am concerned a little bit about weather manipulation for the simple fact that the Earth has its own ecosystem and it heals and, disrupts itself. It does its own thing, right? If we're disrupting it, what kind of catastrophic events are we causing? It's like butterfly effect type stuff.
Italy is set to be the first ever country to ban synthetic food. This is in contrast to the United States and Singapore, which just a couple months ago became the first two countries ever to legalize the sale of synthetic meat. My name is Patrick, and I used to work in a genetics lab. If you're unfamiliar with lab-grown meat, let me bring you up to speed. Lab-grown meat is actual meat that comes from something known as an immortal cell. How crazy is that? They literally found cells that can just continue to replicate and live forever. The discovery of immortal cells came from this lady here, Henrietta. She had cancer and unfortunately went to the hospital. Didn't work out, they couldn't treat her cancer, but scientists took her cells without consent, I might add, and started testing on them in a lab. It happened in the 50s. They're still alive today, and we continue to learn new things from them. Later, we found out that stem cells, which all living animals have, also have this character trait of immortality. These cells are very prominent in babies and newborns, and as we grow and develop, they stem off into other types of tissues that we need to function. Okay, back to lab-grown meat, and I'm gonna give you a trigger warning here, so be prepared. Scientists have discovered that if you take the blood from a living baby cow, a calf, you can isolate these stem cells and then grow them in a lab to make muscle tissue. Italy has decided that they're not really cool with that. Not because it's questionably very inhumane, but because it takes away from, well, their natural culture and agriculture. I know a lot of the content that I make around this stuff is kind of like fear-mongering because it's gross, but that's not my intent. I'm really just trying to help educate. I want people to know what's going on. So you need to also understand that there are alternatives to this bovine fetal calf serum, stuff that they take from the blood of calves. There are alternatives, it's just super expensive right now, and so it's not really adopted. Question to you is, how many of you are going to be moving to Italy now?
So while moving to Italy would be just a little bit extreme, good for them. Good for them. There's so much fake food. I mean, I showed a video a few days ago of all the fake food that's coming out of China, right? The fake eggs. I'll put a link. I'll put a link. It's awful. But in America, I mean, we have fake everything. We don't even have real beef sometimes. And it's not because it's this fake lab-grown beef. It's because it's made with like soy isolate and these protein globules. I don't even know. You can't eat real meat. Just eat real meat. It's better for you anyway.
Ashgabat, Turkmenistan is the world's strangest city, and here's why. Believe it or not, Turkmenistan's natural gas makes it one of the richest countries in the region. The majority of this money goes directly into making the capital city look amazing. 80% of all buildings are covered in white marble imported from Italy. In fact, so much marble was used that it won a Guinness World Record. Between its manicured gardens, elegant fountains, and detailed statues, it feels like a strange version of Disneyland in the desert. But despite the size and beauty of this city, the streets are shockingly empty. You get that feeling that someone is watching over you, like North Korea, and it's intimidating to take photos. The former dictator's weird laws will leave you scratching your head. He named all the months after his family members. He banned circuses because they were too noisy, and he made it illegal to have pet dogs because he doesn't like the smell. Ashgabat is definitely the world's most interesting city, and if you ever get the chance to visit, I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, so here's some of the crazy rules and regulations, the prohibitions in Ashgabat. Okay, prohibition of cosmetic surgery. So au naturel. Women are not allowed to ride in the front seat of a car. You're not allowed to lip sync at public concerts. That's interesting, right? There is a prohibition on reporting or mentioning contagious diseases such as AIDS or cholera. So if you get a contagious disease, you can't report it, you can't mention it, right? And a prohibition of car radios. That's interesting. Those are some strange laws. Well, I guess if you own a city and you want to make it your own, you know, do what you want.
If you're like me, you've heard of H5N1, probably from your mother, who's deathly scared of it just by hearing it on the news once. Which is kind of a big deal right now because we're starting to find the bird flu in cows. What? Here's the thing. Herds of cows and certain dairy products are testing positive for the viral RNA of H5N1, you know, the instruction booklet that makes up the virus. Now, I know you're kind of freaking out, but it's okay because it's the RNA, just the instructions, not the live virus. What are you doing? What do you want? He wants to join in on the science, I guess. So as of right now, there shouldn't really be a concern for milk and eggs and all that stuff. But scientists aren't just going, hey, we're done with this. Peace out. No more problem. What they're concerned about is how pandemics start. You know, like COVID and all that stuff we went through like a couple years ago. Yeah, that stuff. Right now, it's a pandemic only in cows. And rest assured, scientists are doing all they can to make sure it doesn't spread to humans. Because who wants another COVID?
Except a couple weeks ago where it did spread to humans, right? So there's that.
Birds aren't real guy. He went on Fox News of all places and just confused the hell out of them.
V, but we can control every bird in the sky.
We can. I mean, and I appreciate you allowing me to share this information on here. A lot of the media won't let me talk about
Is this
stuff.
a shtick? I mean, do you really in your heart?
Why would it be a shtick?
Because
I mean, you report
everywhere.
You report on UFOs in the show, yes?
Well, I don't report on them.
UFOs are, I mean, I respect what you guys talk about on here. You're letting bird robots on the show. You're letting UFOs in the show.
So do you think I could see the government using some birds maybe as drones?
I like the theory that some birds are drones, but all birds? Come on.
That's just too many birds.
The pigeons here in New York City.
Every bird, in every pigeon here in New York City.
He's so good. How did he get on this?
Control every bird.
He's playing it so well.
Yeah.
He's so good at this by now.
He is.
This man, I don't think a joke's ever been run this far for this long.
I'm baffled how, I mean, this is Jesse Waters, who now that Tucker Carlson is gone, I believe that this is...
This guy?
There's a substitute. He's got a substitute teacher.
So this is prime
look,
time.
it's Jesse Waters prime time.
Yo, this is the prime time slot.
Yeah, so this isn't even just filler on the daytime programming. This is like their lead story for the night.
Lead story tonight. Are all birds fake? There it is, guys. Fox News. This is what your grandparents are watching.
Yeah.
And some of your parents, unfortunately.
If they come and ask you about the robot birds, you know what happened.
I remember hearing about the whole the birds are fake thing. I didn't know how far it actually got. Congratulations to that guy for perpetuating that theory. A lot of theories start out like that. Like, you know, people are like, oh, I think I'm going to say that there are amoebas in the water or something like that. I mean, there actually are amoebas in the water, but like if they were pretending. I think that's how all theories get started. Like someone's like, hey, I think we're going to say there's little green aliens coming down from the sky trying to take us away. And then before you know it, it's a whole thing, right? So you never know. I know there's a lot of people that still believe that the birds are fake. And I totally understand, like he said, you know, some of these birds might be spies, but you don't know. Some people actually grasped onto that and believe that birds, they just don't exist. They're not real. Every single one of them is a spy drone.
They did fake the moon landing. That's a fact, whether people realize it or not. Today, with 54-year better rocket designs and computer designs, the farthest that NASA can send a rocket with an astronaut into space is 1,000th the distance to the moon. That's why they're sending mannequins to orbit the moon that can't even land because they would from the radiation. Most people don't know, which is above the Earth, starting at about 1,000 miles and extending about 30,000 miles, is a huge band of radiation that astronauts would have to go through to the moon and through again back. The technology for an astronaut to go through it to the moon and back and survive has yet to be invented. They had 1/8 of an inch of aluminum. Now, when you get a dental x-ray, they use 1/4 inch lead. And so that's for 1/24 of a second. They would be in that for an hour to an hour and a half going to the moon and an hour to an hour and a half coming back.
So I'm still very much team we went to the moon. That doesn't seem right. That 1/8 of an inch of aluminum to me as a lay person doesn't seem very strong. Like, I don't think that they could achieve the structural integrity necessary to reach escape velocity coming out of the frickin' planet, going through the atmosphere, right? But I don't build space shuttles, so I don't know exactly how they do it. If you do build space shuttles, let me know. Is it an eighth of an inch of aluminum? Is that all they got to protect them out there? Because it don't seem right.
Something really odd started happening after the eclipse.
I don't know why that's happening right now. I'm using a welding mask. What is happening right now? Putting my phone on the welding mask, so I don't know if it's like electromagnetic energy coming at us right now, being pulsed.
This video, for instance, was recorded in New Jersey and uploaded recently. Last footage taken of this anomaly was actually captured in Texas, and I've shown you guys this one before, but I guess this is a very clear one, and whatever this thing is, you can see it's projected into the clouds. A shadow person, an invisible drone, an alien-like craft, whatever this thing is, no one knows, but it gets weirder. A few days later, an anomaly shows up on satellite data. An anomaly as big as a country with 80-foot waves being projected from this anomaly. The same way it appears, the same way it disappears out of nowhere. An official note was released saying that this is just a glitch in the satellite data, but I've never seen anything like this before. What kind of anomaly would project this into the satellite data? Strange, right? Then, this cloud, this anomaly in the sky shows up in China. Very similar to the anomaly that's seen in the satellite data, isn't it? I mean, what's going on here? Then, a couple of days later, in Peru, this starts happening with the ocean water in Chancay Beach. Up until now, authorities and experts have no idea why the water is boiling in Chancay Beach. I mean, this isn't normal. But is it correlated, or is there any connection with these recent events after the eclipse? I don't know. You tell me, what do you think is really going on?
So for months leading up to the solar eclipse, everybody was ranting and raving about all of the spectacular things that it signified and the wonderful things that were going to happen, or even the terrifying things that were going to happen. And then when nothing happened, every single day there's been a new video about this particular thing or that particular thing that must have been caused by the solar eclipse. And I think it's funny. I think it's funny. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I totally appreciate every single second of your time. If you haven't already, please let me know down in the comments section below any suggestions you may have for my 100th episode. We're about a week away from that, and I'm super excited to hit that milestone. And come back tomorrow, because I'm going to have a new video. There's going to be new stuff to watch. It's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.